As BTS's Jungkook nears the end of his mandatory military service, a new and deeply personal controversy is starting to unfold. One that doesn't involve contracts, albums, or scandals, but home. According to unconfirmed reports from sources close to Jungkook's family, his mother has quietly expressed a wish for her son to return to a simpler life in Busan, far from the pressure of the spotlight. The rumor has sparked a storm of speculation across online communities. What if Jungkook doesn't come back as a performer, but as a son? Fans are divided. Some see it as a touching sign of a mother's love, wanting to shield her child from the never-ending cycle of fame, exhaustion, and public scrutiny. Others fear it could signal a looming retirement, or worse, that Jungkook is emotionally burned out. The timing couldn't be more sensitive. With millions awaiting his post-military comeback, this potential family-driven redirection casts a shadow over what should have been a triumphant return. In a 2019 interview, Jungkook once said, "My mom always reminds me that no matter what happens, there's a home waiting." But now, fans are wondering, is that reminder becoming a request? And if it is, will Jungkook choose the world stage or the quiet of home? An idol torn between duty and desire, and a mother's unspoken plea in the world of K-pop. Silence often says more than any press release. And lately, Jungkook's silence, especially about his post-military plans, has grown louder by the day, and cryptic tweets, and vague updates, and signature selfie with a caption soon. Instead, what surfaced was something far more human. A quiet visit, a private dinner, and a tearful conversation, allegedly overheard by a neighbor in Busan, between Jungkook and his mother, just weeks before his expected discharge. "You've given them everything," she was heard saying. "It's okay to take something back now for yourself." Fans who once celebrated every stage Jungkook stepped on are now confronted with a haunting possibility. What if his next stage is no stage at all? For over a decade, Jungkook has lived under the weight of being the golden magne, the youngest, the most versatile, the irreplaceable core of BTS. But even gold bends under pressure. According to an anonymous staffer from a past BTS tour, Jungkook was always the last to sleep, the first to rehearse, and the one who never allowed himself to break down, even when others did. But people close to him say military service changed something. IT slowed him down. IT recentered his thoughts. IT reminded him of a different version of life, one that doesn't include flashing cameras or endless expectations. Sources claim Jungkook's mother has long been his quiet anchor, the one who grounded him during his trainee days, who visited quietly without ever seeking public attention, and who reportedly asked him to consider how much longer you want to run. One unconfirmed but now viral fan theory suggests that Jungkook's recent unreleased writings include a song called Porch Light, believed to be about the warm, constant glow of his home in Busan, waiting for him no matter how dark the world outside becomes. A line allegedly from the demo goes, "If I walk away from the noise, will you still hear my steps? If I trade the stage for silence, will the world still remember my name?" If real, these lyrics feel less like poetry and more like a farewell in slow motion, with HYB preparing what insiders call a grand reintroduction for Jungkook, and fans gearing up for what they expect to be his most powerful solo era yet. One person seems to be asking a different question. What if he doesn't return to be a star, but just to be a son? Would the world let him? Would the agency allow it? And more importantly, would the fans accept it? Because for the first time since debut, the boy who gave everything to the world may be standing at a crossroad, not between comeback concepts, but between legacy and peace. And in that moment, perhaps only one voice matters, his mother's point: one son, one choice, one world waiting. It's a crisp, cloudless morning in Seoul. The military base gates are surrounded by fans, press, and cameras aimed like rifles, all waiting for that single glimpse of him. The return of Jungkook should be a moment of triumph. But there's one question that looms heavier than any flashbulb. Is he coming back or saying goodbye? The gates finally open. He steps out, dressed in regulation uniform, eyes shielded by a black cap, face calm but unreadable. The crowd erupts, but Jungkook doesn't raise his hand to wave immediately. He looks around. One long pause. One silent breath. His mother isn't there, and no family. No agency reps. Just silence behind the roar. Fans are confused. Reporters hesitate. Rumors ignite instantly. Did he ask her not to come? Did she refuse? Or is this his signal to the world that this return isn't about celebration, but confrontation? Later that night, at exactly midnight, Jungkook posts something that crashes the servers within minutes. Not a selfie, not a teaser, not a letter. Handwritten, translated in every language by fans within hours. IT begins. To those who waited, and to one who never asked me to, I've been many versions of myself. A singer, a dancer, a brand, a hope, a promise, but I was also a son. My mother asked me once, long ago, would I choose if the world loved me, but I didn't love myself. I never answered her. Today, I think I finally can. What follows is not an announcement of a comeback. It's a pause. For now, I need quiet, not forever, just enough to find the voice that hasn't been rehearsed. Thank you for letting me go home. The message ends with 3 words, I'm still yours. The next day, social media is chaos. Hashtags like #JungkookPause, #LetHimBreathe, and #ComeHomeJK trend worldwide. News outlets scramble to reinterpret his letter. Is this a retirement, a sabbatical, or a revolution? HYB remains silent. Other idols begin subtly liking the post, some even reposting old photos with Jungkook, hinting at a quiet solidarity. Meanwhile, in Busan, a blurry photo appears. Jungkook, hoodie pulled low, walking beside a woman believed to be his mother, carrying groceries and laughing. It's simple. It's quiet, and it might be the most powerful image of his entire career. For years, Jungkook was seen as the indestructible prodigy, the idol without weakness, without rest, without end. But now, as the world watches him return not to the stage, but to the sea breeze of Busan, something more profound emerges. The most powerful move he ever made was choosing peace over performance, and by doing so, he may have just rewritten the rules for every idol after him, a decision that quietly shattered the idol system. Months have passed since Jungkook's midnight letter. There's still no comeback, no teaser, no single drop, and yet, he's everywhere tonight and think pieces. In panel discussions, in dorm room debates, because his absence is louder than any chart topper. What does it mean when the world's most beloved idol says, I need time to find myself? Not in a scandal, not in shame, but in peace. Fans begin to realize, this wasn't an exit. IT was a redefinition, a surprising twist. Jungkook's decision to step back sparks something unexpected. Other idols, younger, mid-tier, and even second-gen legends begin speaking out, some for the first time, about burnout, family pressures, and the quiet cost of survival in the industry. A well-known soloist posts, Jungkook gave me permission to breathe. A rookie idol writes, I used to fear stepping away. Now I see it as healing. Meanwhile, fan culture evolves. Fandoms once obsessed with schedules and comebacks begin trending hashtags like #LetThemRest, #MentalHealthMatters, and #NotJustProducts. Jungkook, without saying another word, becomes the silent architect of a cultural shift. Despite the noise, no one has seen Jungkook publicly since the grocery photo. But Busan locals speak of sightings. A corner bakery claims he comes every Sunday. A music teacher says she hears humming outside her classroom window, a voice she'd never forget. Whether true or urban legend, one thing is certain. Jungkook didn't vanish. He just changed the channel. There's also a rumor, soft, sweet, and yet unconfirmed, that he's helping young artists in Busan learn to write music. No cameras, no credits, just melody, story, and silence. And then there's her, the quiet figure behind it all. Jungkook's mother, once invisible to the fandom, is now quietly revered as the woman who dared to remind her son he's human first. In interviews with cultural commentators, she becomes a symbol of the unseen resistance, the force that held onto her son when the world demanded he belong to them. We cheer idols for being perfect, one professor says, but perhaps Jungkook's mother deserves applause for helping him be free. One final post appears on Jungkook's account, months after the lettered at a photo.
Blurry. Dusk.
A coastline. His figure stands facing the sea, arms slightly raised, as if listening to the wind. An O caption. No date. Just raw stillness. And fans don't ask for more, because maybe for the first time they understand. Jungkook doesn't need to be a headline. He doesn't need to be a hero. He doesn't even need to come back. He just needs to be okay. And somehow, that's the most meaningful performance of all.